Hey guys, so I just want to make a quick little intro thing. The video I put up yesterday, the breaking news about Daesung, that was an initial reaction video. I wasn't trying to say that I thought he was drinking and driving. I was reading everything from the start, so it started with he was in an accident with no information. And it was like he could have possibly been drinking with no follow-up information. I've gotten a more clear assessment of what's going on, and I know what's going on now. I know he wasn't drinking. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm totally ignorant to the situation. Believe me, I'm probably paying attention more to this than I should be. I feel like this is going to be a 2-part, maybe 3-part, 4-part thing because so much information is coming in and going on. I wrote it down on my website, so I'm kind of reading off of that. So if I seem like I'm monotone or deadpan about it, I'm not. I just want to get all the information out of there as quickly as I can, but also as clearly as I can. So here is what's been going on so far. Now, when I first heard about the accident, I thought it was like he got into another accident, like he was a victim again, because if anybody knows of Big Bang even a little bit, they know about the horrible accident that destroyed Daesung's car and sent him to the hospital for like a month or so. So to hear about this happening again, well, you know, it's not the best thing to hear about. The guy just has bad luck with cars, I guess, and I'm not trying to make light of the situation. That's just kind of how I see it. He just has bad luck with cars, and I really, really feel for him. I feel really bad. Said this isn't your typical Super Junior fender bender thing. They have really bad luck with cars as well, actually. If you want to see pictures and video, you should go to my previous video because I posted all the pictures and the news coverage there. I mean, like, after seeing the news video, I can't even imagine, like, what is going on in his head. I don't even know if I want to. That's a really sad and dark place to be, and I feel really bad for him. Like, the guy, he's a devout Christian with Taeyang, as you don't know. It's true. His father taught him, you know, for Christian teachings. And the guy carries a Bible in his car, for Gak's sake. Like, I think he'd be regretful to hurt a fly, let alone, like, hurt anything on purpose. So like, my heart goes out to him and the family of the motorcyclist. I just feel, like, terrible for what's happened. I'm going to try to summarize as best as I can. These are the first 2 days. So the day it happened and the preceding day afterward. What's happened so far of Daesung and his car accident. On May 30th in Korea at 1:40 a.m., Daesung was driving in Seoul on break from BigBang promotions in both Korea and Japan because I was wondering what he was doing in Seoul. He was driving in a 4-lane highway that's on a downhill slope, and we'll call it lane 1. Daesung was driving behind 2 cars, a pedestrian car and a taxi. The taxi was the first one, and then the pedestrian car, and then Daesung's car was behind those 2. The taxi driver saw a person passed out on the ground up ahead and suddenly swerved into lane 2, a lane on the right, missing the person, but swerved back into lane 1 and stopped the car in front of the motorcyclist, or the person on the ground, to check on him and call 911. He saw that the person was bleeding and was a motorcyclist who crashed his motorcycle in possibly a hit-and-run accident. His motorcycle was 10 meters away from him on its side, so that kind of either he like fell or he was in a hit-and-run. The pedestrian car also saw the motorcyclist and did the same swerve maneuver as the taxi driver, missing the motorcyclist, the taxi, and the motorcycle before going back into lane 1 and then continuing to drive on, so nobody knows where he is, I guess. Alright, now this part's unclear, so I want to make it sure that you guys know that these are theories, because they don't know quite for sure yet. Daesung, however, did not see the motorcyclist in time to stop. This is theory 1. Daesung saw the motorcyclist and the taxi driver, who I guess was still in his car, like he was just getting out of his car to check or something, but he was still near his car. Daesung tried the same maneuver as the 2 cars had done in front of him, but his brake pedal wasn't working, and he couldn't stop the car enough to have control. This is theory 2, because they didn't find skid marks, so he didn't brake, but nobody knows why. He hit and ran over the motorcyclist and only regained enough control to avoid the motorcycle and going into lane 2, but ended up going into lane 1 prematurely and hitting the rear of the taxi cab along with the taxi driver who was in or near the taxi. Daesung immediately stopped his car and got out, asking if the taxi driver was okay, when the taxi driver stated that he was not the only one who needed help and pointed to the motorcyclist on the ground. They both called 911, where the motorcyclist was pronounced dead on the scene. Both Daesung and the taxi driver took blood alcohol tests, and they came back as negative, or not a factor in this at all. Like, at all. So, do you want people to think that I thought he was drunk driving again? He was not. He was not under the influence of anything other than maybe confusion and nervousness for why the first two cars in front of him were swerving. Daesung told the police that he was going 80 kilometers per hour, 20 more than the 60 kilometer per hour speed limit, but the taxi driver said that the car did not seem like it hit his taxi with 80 kilometers of force. And, of course, YG doesn't believe Daesung was speeding either, and merely said that out of shock. So, because Daesung said that without, like, prompting from anybody, or whether it be the truth or not, police have to take that into really serious consideration since Daesung said it. And because the road was at a downward slope and it was dark outside, both of these things automatically handicapped Daesung's driving ability. Daesung was taken into questioning for 5 hours, so it's like 2 o'clock to about 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, I just feel so bad. YG and close friends of Daesung, including Lee Hyori, said that Daesung is one for self-blaming, and he has been in a state of absolute grief and confusion, crying for the latter part of the day, understandably. All promotions for BigBang's Japanese album, like in-person appearances, will cease to avoid scandal, and the subject being brought up even if Daesung is not around to attend the event. Like, if, I don't know, like, say Taeyang or G-Dragon, they go and promote something, and if someone asks, so how's Daesung? Like, they don't really want that. That's not really appropriate to talk about. It is unknown if Nikon, that camera company, La Cafe, or other sponsors of Big Bang will drop their sponsorships. Hopefully not, but it all depends on, like, the final verdicts and the final results, the autopsy that they're doing. Nor is it known if Big Bang will be barred from any public appearances for promotional, musical, or interview reasons, but luckily, like I said, they're on break, so they don't need to, like, promote anything, nor will their current sales be affected because they're not selling anything. And nor is it known if Daesung will continue to appear in a talk show he's a regular in called Night After Night. Plans for the next Korean full-length album of BigBang's have also inevitably been postponed. So what is still under investigation is, 1, the very main part of this, is Daesung the cause of this person's death, or was it the previous possible hit and run that killed him? Number 2, was there a hit and run at all? Because people are saying that the motorcycle was in pretty good shape, so they don't think that he was hit by another car. Number 3, was Daesung breaking any traffic safety laws? Like, was he really going 20 kilometers over the speed limit, or did he really just say that or think that in a state of shock? You know what I realized? Those traffic safety songs from Inkigayo that they always have the idols do over and over and over and over really aren't going through. And because of this now, they're probably going to make them keep going over and over with those stupid songs. Just saying. Number 4. Because police found no skid marks or indication of braking at the scene, did Daesung really try to step on the brake? Did he not? Or is the brake broken? Because that's what Daesung said, because he swears that he stepped on the brake. It was also released of what charges Daesung could face. So, like, right now, he's charged with neglecting safe driving duties. Since he hit a motorcycle that was already fallen, he's facing the lesser charge of neglectful accident rather than an intrusion of safe driving distance. Because an autopsy is still being done for the motorcyclist in determining the exact cause of death, it depends on what charges Daesung could get from here on out. If the man was already dead when Daesung hit him, it would be a charge of ruin of corpse, which is self-explanatory, and not the more serious car accident, violence, or vehicular manslaughter. Thus, Daesung is morally but not lawfully expected to pay compensation, and I'm sure he'll pay compensation and then some. It's almost certain that the motorcyclist was involved in a hit and run, sustaining major injuries from what the taxi driver said, since he was, like, severely bleeding. But if he was not dead, Daesung won't serve jail time, but because he wasn't under the influence or anything, that really, helps his case. But he's then lawfully responsible to compensate from anywhere near in between $18,000 and $28,000 and possibly more, depending on the payer's annual income, which is like $1 bajillion. So Daesung's probably going to pay a lot. So right now they're doing the autopsy, which they're saying will take about a week to do. My heart breaks for this kid. Like, anyone who knows Daesung at all knows that he's like such a sweetheart, and they'd be so sad about this, and I'm especially sad for the person who lost his life in such like a horrible way. Whether Daesung contributed to his death or not, it's still such a horrible way to lose someone's life. Even if he's not responsible for the man's death, he'll have it on his conscience and he'll have to live with it for the rest of his life, so I really feel bad. I'm sure there will be more to come on this subject, so you guys please just don't call Daesung like a murderer or guilty, or say he should have the same jail time as someone who committed this crime or whatever, who's not a celebrity. Like, don't bring celebrity into this, really. This is just, right now this is just Daesung. Just continue to show your support because he really, really needs us now more than ever.